When it comes to applying for these cadet schemes that I talk about on this channel, or applying for scholarship programs that will sponsor you to become, pilots, one of the important things that I always mention that you need to always try to demonstrate in your stories, in your interview answers, on your CV, are pilot competencies. These are, think about them as the skills that you need to safely fly as a pilot. Now, are there times in which some of these skills are not maintained and things go wrong? Absolutely. But in testing you, before giving you that job, or before awarding that scholarship program to you, or before selecting you as a good candidate, these airlines or organizations out there, they need to make sure that you have the necessary competencies or the skills. Now, I wanted to share this video with you because in doing my own, research or just gathering information that I try to bring to you, I thought about what if I could share with you practical scenarios in which these competencies were lost and what happened. Now, this is a new thing that I'm trying out. Let me know if you think this is a good thing for the channel and if you find value, and maybe you get to understand some of these competencies even better using practical examples or using real life events that has happened in the past and highlighting these competencies and why these airlines go really big on them. Then please let me know in the comment section. I would appreciate that because it lets me know that you guys have found value and you've gained that knowledge or that skill and you understand how you want to present your situations even more. All right. So this situation actually happened to American Airlines flight 965. And this was something that happened a while ago, but the knowledge and information is still applicable till now. Now, I'll share the video with you, but this is just the snippet of the video. You would have to go online and go to YouTube. I'm sure you see a lot of full videos about this incident or accident that actually happened. And like I said, I won't go into the details of what happened prior to this point, but I just wanted to share with you, and then we're going to talk about the competency shortly.
The discovery of the black boxes enabled investigators to follow the final moments of American Airlines Flight 965.
There is never one single item or error that typically brings an airplane down. There's an error chain, and a chain is made up of many links. As they were approaching from a distance out, the controller offered them a straight-in landing.
So that is the whole idea right now. The controller offered them a straight-in landing. They already set up for a different runway, but now the controller has changed the runway on them, or at least asked them if they wanted something more straight-in. So the whole concept about the straight-in approach is, let's assume that you're coming from the north, and the current setup that you guys have is to land to the north, which means coming from the north, the airplane will need to turn around, descend and turn around, and then make a maneuver into the pattern and land to the north. But in this situation, the controller offered them, would they want a straight-in landing? It makes sense to take a straight-in because it will save them time, save them fuel, but it comes at a price, and that price is your ability to set up the airplane pretty quickly because you've planned for something else, you've briefed it, you've set up everything for that north landing, but now the controller is changing to a south landing, which he requested if they wanted it, and they accepted because it just usually makes sense, saves us a lot of time, especially if you've had a long flight, you're probably tired, the controller may just want to help, but you as a pilot may need to decide which is better, to take that longer approach that you've already planned for or make last minute changes. But like I said, I'm not going to go into the details of this actual accident, but let's really skip to where I really want us to focus on because this video is going to get too long.
It's to fly to Bogota, 130 miles away.
More than a minute into the turn, the pilots are unaware they're flying away from Cali and dangerously off course.
The first officer's getting the charts out, the captain's getting the charts out.
Know where we're headed.
They're trying to tune radios.
Direct to Lua.
No one's flying the airplane.
And this is something that is also important, as you can hear as he's given his information on what is really happening. Because of that change that they've accepted and they had to reprogram the box, a mistake was made and the airplane started turning away. in the process of that, remember, no one was really monitoring what the airplane was doing at this point because they were trying to catch up on setting up the airplane for that approach. And doing that meant that their workload really increased to a point where they weren't focused on, flying the airplane.
No one's watching what happens, and they assume that the automation is going to take care of them. Sometimes it will, but in this case it didn't.
Where are we?
All right, that is my key point that I want to bring to you. That question, where are we? You see, when it comes to flying, the first thing that you always want to understand is to have that accurate perception of where you are at all times. Because when that perception is lost, you need to regain it ASAP. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times when you would lose that awareness. Why? Because you're tired, because you're distracted, because of your workload, things like that. But it is your utmost job to regain awareness. And this leads me to that situational awareness competency. This is one of the reasons why these airlines always test for this competency through their questions they ask you. A question may test for various competencies, but it's your job as a candidate, for example, or maybe an interviewee, to really know what the interviewer is looking for. Are they looking for maybe communication? Are they testing for situational awareness? Are they looking for maybe your leadership skills? Things like that. A question, like I said, may test for all these competences. And that is where you need to be able to really be on top of your game to come up with effective answers. And questions like, where are you? Where are we? What is going on? What is the airplane doing? Why is it doing that? What is going on with the automation? Or, things, questions like that means that situational awareness has been lost. So questions like, what will you do if you lost an engine while flying? Or questions like, what would you do if the weather got bad at your destination airport? Another question like, what would you do if your flight attendant calls you to tell you that your passenger is passing out? Questions like that are generally testing for your situational awareness, amongst other things. But how do you demonstrate situational awareness in those type of questions? For example, what would you do if you lost an engine while flying? Simple way is, well, you want to aviate, navigate, communicate. How do you aviate? Maintaining control of the airplane, stabilizing the airplane, establishing who is flying the airplane, making sure that you have the actual time to deal with the problem. Because think about it. If you've just taken off, if the scenario is that you've just taken off, then the first thing you want to do is, of course, aviate, stabilize the airplane, get off the ground, get as high as you can, considering the terrain in the area. And that is, again, maintaining the accurate perception of the environment you're in, buying enough time to get off the ground, stabilize the airplane, making sure that you're in the right environment to start troubleshooting or start, doing any checklist procedures. Those are things that are testing for your situational awareness. Now, some of this may not apply to people that are maybe cadets, of course, because maybe they might not ask you questions like that, but they may ask you a question in the lines of, what would you do if you're flying to a destination and the weather got bad? In this case, you want to maybe understand the scenario pretty well. Are you in cruise phase? If you're in cruise phase, then in that case, you probably have to start communicating some of your ideas with your captain and sharing ideas back and forth. And of course, considering the other person that you have on the ground, which is like a dispatcher, and sharing that information amongst yourselves and asking for where the weather may be good with ATC in this picture might be the necessary things to do. But that is maintaining that broad view of what is going on. And that would help you to keep up with that situational awareness that we're talking about in this video. In this particular situation, well, the problem was that two people were flying the airplane and situational awareness was just lost. If one person maintained control and made sure that that person continued to maintain that accurate perception of the environment in which the airplane was in, they would have realized that the airplane was turning away and something needed to be done. Maybe disconnect the autopilot, maybe reprogram the FMS, the flight management system. Things like that would have been corrected. But unfortunately, when two people start to work the manuals, or two people start to read the checklist, or when two people start to monitor the radio and nobody's then flying the airplane, problems do come up. So in your answers, ask yourself these questions. And again, there's so many questions that test for situational awareness out there. So I don't want you to think these are all the questions that are there. There's so many of them. But in answering those questions, always remember, in any scenario that may require to make a decision within a time frame or within a specific moment in time, understand that the ability to comprehend what has happened, what is happening, and what will happen will give you a very robust and well thought out answer, and in demonstrating that you have that situational awareness. Now, like I said, I won't go into detail of this actual accident because what eventually happened was the airplane turned and they struck terrain. I hope that you are able to see where situational awareness is really used or lost in this case in an aviation environment, in a professional environment that you will probably be in terms of flying with another pilot, flying professionally. These are all things that have been tested for a specific reason, is to make sure that as a candidate, you have these necessary skills in order to prevent things like this from happening. Like I said, this is something I'm trying out. If you think this was a good idea, let me know in the comment section. If you think that maybe I could share more information on it, let me know also in the comment section. I would appreciate your feedback. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. I'd love to see you in the next one.